Cycle Dyno Tuners, proud to sponsor our Superbike Championships. If we've got a front row for you, have we what? Yes, indeed, incredible to see because they're sitting on the front row. The BMW 1000 of M1 Motorsport, courtesy of RWR Fleet Maintenance Mount Motorcycles. It is Alistair Hugenboozem from where? Of course, Christchurch, right here at this stage. So great to see Al Hugenboozem from Sloane Frost, Mitch Rees and Hayden Fitzgerald as we go to the front row. And I'll tell you what a start there from Sloane Frost, or Chopper as I've known him for the last 26 years. So there he goes. A young man formerly from Northern. When I first ever saw him throw his leg over a junior motocross bike to the time he did senior motocross, took a break like many young people and got himself sorted out with business and family, and then he's come back to his love of motorcycling but turned it from knobblies into slicks and gone from the dirt to the tar seal. And this man turning winning posts, of course, and coming away, of course, last year as runner-up after some controversy, and the year before that, of course, as champion. So Mr. Sloane Frost commanding racing for you at this stage. So great to see the DynoWorks team in action at the moment as we look out for the update, and CTAS Live giving you fantastic audio and video coverage of our racing at first hand here as we go round through the Fulton Hogan sweeper and look at that tight bit. I think that looks to be the update in there. Is that going to be, I'm going to say there at the moment, Jay Lawrence? Is that the, because of course we've got two red bikes. One of them is Mitch Rees, the other one is Jay Lawrence. He's got a Carl Cox Motorsport paint job over the top of his Honda, and I thought for a second it was Jay. I'm thinking, is it going to be Mitch? No, I think it's going to be Mitch, so look for Mitch to get in there. Yeah, it is. That's definitely Mitch. So great work from Mitch Rees. Or just from the camera shot, it looked as if it could have been the Suzuki. I got that one wrong, my apologies, but more importantly for Mitch, he's got it in second place and tracking through there nicely as we look back to the Hugenboozem team there, Team Hoogie, going for it on the M1 Motorsport BMW, and to see them on pole position, Spider Staples, what a great way to start the weekend for another Cantab.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for Alistair. Well, we expected for Alistair, but last we went up to the cemetery circuit the other day, and it's not actually Alistair out there in the front, Sloane Frost on the front there. So Alistair's in about 4th, 5th place here.
Yeah, he's slipped back to 4th, so in fact it was Scott Moyer. I think he's had a moment, because when I'm sure through the dipper, he was still there in 3rd place, so I think he's just had a moment and Scott's got up on him there.
Well, let's tell you what's on our screen then. As I went across the start-finish line, number 2, Sloane Frost on the Suzuki Red Baron TSS motorcycle. Mitch Rees on number 6, Scotty Moyer.
And Mitch Rees into the lead. Look at that. Oh no, it's just been undone. Just been undone. That's what had happened now. We saw that in the last class with that beautiful scissor movement and the bike fight going on there between Dennis Charlotte and Regan Phipps. Well, that's exactly what again has happened, because going in on the inside was the Honda, then on the outside was the Suzuki. By the time they come to the corner, a fraction of an overshoot by the Honda because it was going in faster, and the Suzuki cuts up on the inside. So great to see as the fight back continues. So there you have it in the rocketing red racing of Mitch Rees out there, but it is Sloane. And then watch this, and can he make it stick and take it on the inside? Yes, he does. Look at that, and makes a fantastic overtake move. We see a lot of that. We saw Avalon Biddle doing a lot of that in that last race, the earlier race Spider for the 600s, but very few times do people make it stick, but Mitch Rees did on that occasion. What a start.
That is a classic Ruapuna move through Southern Salvage. I get the idea that Sloane Frost's front end was chattering there, and that gave Mitch Rees the drive out of there, but I'm not going to take it away from Mitch Rees there, definitely. It was certainly a fine move there, and look at that, he's already opened about 10, 12 bike lengths on Sloane Frost, and right now Sloane's been hunted by the BMW. The number 43 machine, the M1 Valvoline Motorsport machine, back after a year out of action. Moggy, the team owner, had to have surgery on his foot, so he decided to park up for a year, but he's itching. It also appeared at Wanganui at the cemetery circuit this year as well, so first time for a long time. M1 Motorsport have been racing at the street circuit as well. Over there to the hairpin, Mitch Rees. Normally we'd see his father up amongst that group there, Neil Ritchie, but he's out of action.
Yeah, unfortunately is, and I'll tell you what, looking at his hand this morning, it's ugly is the only polite word I use, so all the best, Tony, for your recovery. But do you know what, he's not daunted by it at all, not daunted in any way, not when he knows he's got his big son Mitch, the 24-year-old hero from Whakatane, who's out there in front at the moment. Of course, earlier this season, so middle of last year, this was a guy in top form in motocross in New Zealand. He was doing the best, and he was alternating between the two. Young son Demon Damo, he was of course won the 600s here last year for the championships, went over to Australia, unfortunately got injured in Australia, and then Mitch took over the opportunity to take his ride, and from them it gave him more of a thirst of getting into this big time road racing. We saw how he did so well to finish up in a top 3 finish in the recent Suzuki series. So fantastic when this Rees family are doing so well. well. So it's not going to be Super Dad Tony, the forever 49-year-old, who's now won more than that, but it is two sons and Mitch this time, the 24-year-old, in fantastic form out there to lead them at the moment. The number 6 bike, courtesy of Honda Rider Insurance, Motul, Tony Rees Motorcycles, Pacific Toyota, signing JJC, Rivet City, and 10 Tools. Beautiful new toolboxes I saw in the Team Honda pits, and the boys are saying what a difference that a lot of proper tools have made to the way they work efficiently. Hadn't even realised it, Spider. Just, you know, that kind of thing behind the scenes of just how much that you're not just looking at your bike sponsors, but the industry around your bike, e.g. the tools, in this case 10 Tools, getting behind Team Rees Honda.
Oh, even a well-calibrated, properly calibrated tyre pressure gauge is just a second. Here we go. Alistair Hugenbosom, the fastest lap on the track in the last race, goes up on the inside of Sloane Frost there into the hairpin and makes it sick and comes out. He's the fastest man. What has he got? He's got a 1:34.88 compared with a 1:37.92 for Mitch Rees out the front, 1:31.196 for Sloane Frost, 1:31.401 for Scotty Boyer in fourth place. We go back to Daniel Medham, Hayden Fitzgerald, Connor London, Jay Lawrence, Jeremy Holmes, Rob Whittle, David Sharp, Sam Sharp and Brett Coate. Those last four guys, 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th, are all running the big Aprilia V4s. They're a beautiful motorcycle as well. Now Alistair's made that stick. Alistair Hugenbosom, the number 43, we see him coming in towards the dipper there. Sloane Frost has got his work cut out to try and get in front of him. The other thing is, that's interesting, is Alistair Hugenbosom is running Bridgestones. Now, when Sloane went to Australia this year, he was trying the Bridgestone tyres with the view of the New Zealand Superbike Championships, but I think he sort of stuck with the Pirellis. Bridgestone have been a tough tyre to break through with because no one else is running them. It's very easy to go around the pits and get information off other riders and just draw on that, but when you've got an orphan tyre out on the track, you've got to have a lot of rider ability to deal with that. And of course, Alistair Hugenbosom, man, he is on fire this year. He has got to grips with that BMW really, really well after riding the Honda last year for Red Fenton. Shame to see Red Fenton's team out this year. Hope Red's in the crowd having a look or watching at home on CTAS Live.
Yes, indeed. What a contribution that man has made to the sport, of course, including the organisation of the John Britt Memorial event here a number of years ago. So, Brett, love your commitment to our sport. Let's hope you can come back still as big and bright than ever. And people, of course, that have been on board with the team as well, James and others over the years. What a fantastic contribution that they've made. And Team Hoogie in there for some great racing as well. But here we are with the update, looking out for them at the moment. The big bash is on. That's the way to describe it, because they're getting right up in amongst them. And I tell you what, closing that gap down, that's got to be quite a gap in there now. Spider, looking out for that one. I tell you what, that field just opening up there, but from what it was before. But I tell you what, some work to do there now for Mitch to stay in front, because look out, the team are on him.
Well, at Taupo a few weeks ago in the Suzuki Series, both Tony was leading the race there at one stage in the Superbike, or Formula 1 they call it up there, same bikes. Mitch was in second place, but they matched each other to the thousandths of a second. Now, last year, Mitch was running around the 6th and 7th mark, you know, getting to grips with the Superbike. Bang! It showed me that he had the goods there. I knew he had the goods. His old man said he can ride a 450 motocrosser. He's got the goods, and I remember seeing both you and me, Neil, were down at the Invercargill street races and seeing him beat Dad at the in the wet race down there, so he's certainly got the goods. But right now, up into turn 1 there, Neil.
Yeah, they go. Flexoplast, I'll tell you what, all on at the moment. It's trying to hunt him down. Look out for Team Hoogie. They might have been pipped there before, but it is Alistair Hugenbosom for the M1 Motorsport team coming back, and Sloane's there. The margin between them next to nothing, and the bike fighters on. They're down through Icon, heading towards Euromark once again, and there it is with the red in front. But you can see, remembering after 2 laps, but after Mitch got past, it seemed to open out a bit of a buffer. But I tell you what, that buffer's disintegrated now. And tell you what, finding his mojo back again is Sloane Chopper Frost getting in there in 3rd place. So look at that for the 3 as they head through Fulton Hogan once again. It is the Honda, the BMW and the Suzuki. So look at that for a manufacturer. There are 3 different bikes. So wouldn't it be great to see more of that around the world with them so close together? So here we are with Superbike Road Racing. Of course, the world's due to kick off at Phillip Island next month, Spider. That's going to be some excitement, because, man, oh man, these manufacturers, let alone those that have been involved in MotoGP, of course, the manufacturers of production-based motorcycles, which is the origins of Superbikes, have been working over the year, and we're going to see some new bikes launch, and that's going to be even more exciting this year. All right, the lap record's a 1:29.4. We're about half a second off that, but I tell you what, Mitch Rees and Alistair Hugenbosom separated in their last lap times, but by 1/100th of a second, and it's
2 of a second back to Sloane Frost, and of course right there coming round the Rock FM sweeper, there's 2 bikes between first and second, 2 bikes between second and third. We go back about 30 bikes to Scotty Moyer from Taupo, the man who won the Suzuki Series. Don't forget, in 5th place, Daniel McFadden there on the Suzuki, Hayden Fitzgerald on the Yamaha, Jay Lawrence there on bike number 37 there in 7th place. Connor London is getting to grips with this big Kawasaki 1000 on the 99 machine. Now we're looking at Jay Lawrence's leathers there. He's changed his leathers. Last in the Suzuki Series he had orange and white mix, so it was orange on one side and white on the other, but he's now wearing the black and white. Jay Lawrence,
overdone it,
commentator's curse, he's overcooked it on turn 1, still onto the task. In fact, he's off onto the grass, he's upright.
Yeah.
He's upright, I reckon.
Wow, what a recovery. That is awesome, man.
That's probably a missed gear coming into there, just downshifted and missed a gear, and didn't have the engine braking to go with the rest of the braking, but a man like Jay Lawrence could haul that back up, and that was a nice moment, really. All right, where we got the Superbikes coming out of the carousel corner there. Look at them, tighter and tighter. Somebody up on the inside. Is that Mitch Rees coming up on the... Mitch Rees takes the lead ahead of 43. So 43 had got in the front there. I missed that, sorry. 43 had got in the front, the BMW. So it is Mitch Rees, Alistair Hugenboosum on the BMW, and Sloane Frost on the Suzuki. Honda in the front there as they come out of the dip, Neil Ritchie.
Oh, what a fantastic run. Yes, I was following that other group as well, Spider, and we both saw the excitement when unfortunately Jay did the overshoot further at the top end, just to prove that there's more to the race than just the 3 riders out in front. But loving the fact that we can pick up on these 3 riders and the talent of many others, and that great battle that Jay was having. You know, what's the definition of racing? And that's what goes on within the race as well, and not just necessarily what's going on out in front. So great to see. In the update, what do we got?
Well, what I said before is those lead 2 bikes had 1/100th of a second. Well, they've cut that in 3. They're now down to 3,000ths of a second, separating the lap time. Last year we had about 10 laps. The lead 3 bikes had 30,000ths of a second between them. For about 4 laps they were 10,000ths of a second. We've got that racing back here. It's a shame Tony Rees is in the mix. Is there a change of position up there at the hairpin? Mitch Rees goes up on the inside. Alistair Hugenboosum makes it stick.
Yes.
And of course Sloane Frost has got the good view. Right, well, the good view. He doesn't want to see anything in front except track, but of course he's in there in 3rd spot. Scotty Moyer back another 100 metres. But there'll be valuable points for Scotty unless something goes wrong up the front. How many laps we got to go? 3 laps to go. It's a 10-lap race, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, remember, of course, tomorrow we've got the big one, the 20-lap of the New Zealand Grand Prix at the end of the day. So that's a double feature of this event, let alone the fact that every race counts for the championship, 4 different events. And we've got 3 at every event. So, of course, that means 12 races in total. But we have a GP title as the 3rd race at the first round, and the TT title, which in fact won't be the last round this year because the last round will be at Taupo, but the TT titles will still be contested at Hampton Downs with the Auckland Motorcycle Club, so they'll be at the penultimate round. But a TT title, a GP title, and into all of that, a whole New Zealand title as well. So, man, we're going to see some great racing here tomorrow afternoon when that big 20-lapper comes in. Talking to Mitch Rees this morning, and he said that he'll have to have the right tyre on, ready to go in time for that GP race. You'll shred a tyre with the 20-lappers. These 10-lappers, sort of the tyres finished at the end of the race, and it's still got a little bit left in it, but only enough to use for a practice day. So, effectively, 3 different lots of tyres required for 3 races. This is what you call burning rubber in the ultimate sense. As Team Honda go for the glory at the moment, courtesy of Honda Rider Insurance, Motul, Tony Rees Motorcycles, Pacific Toyota, proud to supply the awesome high-ace van, still the world's #1 van to support the Team Rees racing, with Signage, HJC, Revit, City, Ting Tools, Pirelli, BRM, DRD, sorry, my apologies, DRD, along with Telso Engineering, KTEC Suspension, Artrex, MWR Aero, Hamilton Motorcycle Club, Go Fast, Pure, just some of the great sponsors behind Team Rees. And each time we go and look at it, we can see that Mitch goes into the lead. So for every time we watch that, Spider, obviously means that the lead's been lost as well. So effectively, we've probably had Al Hugenboosum. He's been in the front, 3, maybe 4 different times in the race so far, but not there at the moment.
Oh yeah, there was a dominant season about 3 seasons ago when the Hugenboosum brothers just they did all 5 races. I think Alistair qualified in the 600 at 17th on the grid, so that's where your grid stays all weekend. So of 3 races, I think Alistair won 1, but Al won 2 of them. Al won 1 and Matt James won 2.
Yeah.
The whole season through, the only person that could break that 600 run of the Hugenboosums was Toby Summers at Taupo. So and now he's brought it to Superbikes. He had it last year. He won at Hampton Downs last year, didn't he?
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
And then had that crash, didn't he, which red flagged the race. But right now, 1 lap to go. We're on the final lap. We got Alistair Hugenboosum 1:37, a 1:38 for Sloane Frost. But Mitch Rees 1:31.1. So he's slowing. In fact, we're about a second slower than we were 1.6 2 seconds slower than we were earlier in the race. So maybe those bikes heating up, the tyres heating up and slowing around, but they're over through Pothole. Used to be called Pothole. Now it's the Icon corner. Alistair Hugenbosom leads on the M1 Valvoline Motorsport. Jossie Mason is a long-time supporter. I hope you're watching. I know you're watching at home on C-Test Live. Don't forget, folks, if you can't get here tomorrow, tell you, you can watch it on C-Test, but get here, watch it delayed. It's out back on the screen there in about 2 days. Used to cost to watch C-Test Live after a race meeting. It's been free for a couple of years, and that's great from service from Grant Collingwood back here for the whole season as well. Coming round the carousel, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, they're indeed your text and web services as well. So C-Test not just doing this, but for a business, of course, doing tech services. So in this day and age, texting just means everything. So if you're in need of having a tech-savvy business or a web work, this is the team to see. C-Test, CTAS, and this is their division, C-Test Live, doing the live video and audio feed here for you for the New Zealand Superbike Road Race Championships, brought to you by the great sponsors who are lined up all around the country to be supporting this event as well. And a huge thanks go out to Suzuki, Honda, along with Corporate Print, MXT, Motorcycle New Zealand, and of course Pirelli. Power is nothing without control as we look out for the run coming down towards the checkered flag, and it's waiting here at the moment. And look at that, yes indeed, the change has gone on there, and I'll tell you what, he nearly lost it back to third place. Well, so Mitch Reeves, after doing so much, in the end it was all Canterbury, so well done indeed. So there you go, 43, and a fantastic run through. So taking it away for the awesome bike battle there, and our Superbike race for this opening leg, won by Alistair Hugenbosom on the M1 Motorsport. Bring it home, nice to have down there, I'm sure, Hoogie, and a hi to Nola's big team man there, a long time mate of ours. So well done, guys, great to see and thoroughly deserve it. Why? For two reasons. One, you've done it here at Ruapuna for the Grand Prix weekend. The other one, of course, and with your Canterbury pilot now and Al Hugenbosom. So there you go, certainly